Welcome back to Master Guitar, where you will learn to, it's on the tip of my tongue. Before we get into warm-ups and such, we talk a lot about warm-ups on this channel because it takes right about a year of serious woodshed to be able to, just absolutely scream on guitar, to be scary. And I've been doing a lot of work on, remember I just started playing back in August? I just started playing again back in August after a 6-year layoff after I recorded my album. And my guitar playing just was absolutely abysmal. I couldn't even play simple songs without making just constant mistakes. And one of the ways that I've fixed that is you're listening to it right now and don't even realize it. But let's go ahead and talk about my Player Series Strat, which none of you have named yet. So remember, like, subscribe, and comment. And leave a comment. When you leave your comment, tell me what you think I should name this guitar. I've had 3 or 4 other Strats, I can't remember. I've had a bunch of Strats over the years. This one I like, and the Player Series really was, I either wanted a Ventera or I wanted a Player Series because I was doing a lot of research on Strats. And the one thing I wanted the most was I wanted this tone control. And I know you're saying that all Strats have that tone control. Well, hear that? I can completely take the edge off that. I can take the edge off the Strat. Alright, so let's talk about the Player Series Strat. I really like this guitar. This thing was $700, remember, I bought these 2 guitars the same day. This came with a gig bag, this did not. This was just set that in the seat carefully and hold it very carefully as I'm driving down the highway to get home. But I wanted the Strat because of that tone knob right there. I wanted to be able to take the, Fender really got smart and they listened to what people have been saying over the years. And I guess what people have been doing, it's kind of like when Fender first came out with the Strat and people figured out you could take the 3-way switch and kind of get it in the middle, and it would kind of, because of the way it was wired up, it would kind of jiggle into an outer phase and get you this tone. And it's absolutely great sounding, I think. So now this is not a American made, it's made in Mexico. It starts off with the MX and it says MX 2006, even though it's not a 2006, it's a 2020 guitar. And this basically is I don't know when in 2020 it was made. When I bought the guitar, it was basically right after music stores had opened and everything, and I went out there and I bought the guitar, and they all were like, I went in there and I said, what do you got for Strats? And they said, well, we got these, and there was a bunch of them, but they all had the humbucker. And because I wanted to be able to play Christian music with it, because I'm a Christian, and I wanted to be able to play that kind of genre of music. You can't do that well on a humbucker guitar. Otherwise, I'd be using one of my Les Pauls. And just for some reason, this Les Paul Standard is really boxy sounding in a clean setting. It's kind of chunky, cardboard sound. And you need that kind of a clean, when you're playing clean, you end up digging into the strings just a little bit more. I guess your mind craves the distortion. So, like I said, I've had several Strats. This one's got the C neck. It's got the skunk stripe down the middle of the back. The F on the back of the plate, which just, some people, for them, that was like the, well, that just makes it more classy. To me, it was a Fender Strat. It was single coil. It was a Player Series, so I could afford it. Number one, it was more than I wanted to pay. I wanted to top out at about $550 on a Strat, but this was, you know, $750. And basically what Fender was telling stores last year was, we have this, this, and this, and this. Well, we want to get this. No, this is what we had lying around before the shutdown. And we can't reopen to make stuff, so you have to take what we got in stock. Well, I bought this at Alpha Music. Was it Alpha? Yeah, I bought this at Alpha Music, and because I went to the store I used to work at, and I wanted to give them the business, but they didn't have a Flying V. And more than anything else, that's what I wanted, was the Flying V. So I got the Flying V, and this was just more, hey, they also got the Strat. I took a picture of it, sent it to my wife, but I knew, you know, the whole reason I was getting the Strat was to be able to play the Christian music. So I got this, and very happy with it. I was finding that just general purpose, I'm putting my tone knob on 8. I put it on 8 and I don't even touch it. And it is, like I said, it's a C shape. It's not chunky like a 50s neck. It's a little bit thicker than a 62. The fretboard is not the slab fretboard. It kind of crowns a bit. Fret job probably could have been dressed a little better on the edges. I haven't roughed up my hands on this thing playing, but I can tell you that there's, you know, right about here it's a little bit more cleaner fretwork. You know, frets 3 through 7, the fretwork on the treble side is really, really kind of sharp, and they probably could have crowned that a little better. But it's a smooth playing neck, smooth sounding guitar. So here's the treble pickup. Not especially thin sounding. And remember, I'm playing this through a Marshall head. It's a Marshall MG series head. I've had this since maybe 2004, 2005. I don't remember when I got this. And it's going through the VHT cabinet, VHT single 12. So here's the out of phase. This is more the bread and butter tone of most Strat players anyway. And literally, I haven't adjusted the pickups at all. One of the things I used to always do when I bought a Strat was I'd lower the strings as much as possible, get the action as loose as I could, and then, like on a Les Paul, I would crank the pickups up as high as I could. And that's how you get great tone out of a Les Paul and great playing action, but it's the worst thing possible for a Fender. They say actually the farther away you get the pickups from the strings, the more it's getting more of a unified field, I guess, and the pickups end up working a little harder and getting more of a consistent tone. It's a little bit better than the videos I did back in January where I was sick and nose was running and I was constantly having to blow my nose in the middle of filming. It took like 2 hours to film one 20-minute video, when then I ended up, you know, cutting that way down. All right, so here's all 3 pickups. And I just found that with Fender Strats, for some reason, this is the least used setting on the guitar. But it's something you might want to consider with this Player Series, because I mean, listen to that tone. Now the bread and butter tone, this is my most used tone, is the position 4. It's my fretboard and middle pickup out of phase. Or, that's a good way to get an argument out of guitar players. Is it really out of phase or is it in series? Because I've heard both arguments. And there's of course position 5, just the fretboard pickup. And any out of tuneness you're hearing on this guitar is because I've had this guitar since August and I still haven't changed the strings. Ooh. Let's make sure it's okay, not too late. So the thing about it, the tuners hold nicely. I haven't changed the strings, so any slipping you're hearing right now, any out of tuneness that you got, is basically because, like I said, the strings are from August. And normally on my guitar I've been changing my strings once a month. Now that I don't gig as much and I'm not teaching every day, you know, when I was teaching guitar for a living, which I did for 20 years of my life, from my mid-20s on, I was a guitar teacher until my 40s. And then I left guitar teaching, and here I am doing it again. But if I was teaching lessons, 8 hours a day, every day, like I used to, these strings would be dead inside of 3 weeks. I'd bear with it until the first of the month, and then I'd buy some guitar strings, and then of course sit there and wait vainly for everybody to pay me on time. Of course, everybody didn't come in on the first. They'd come in on the first lesson of the month, and I'd hit them with a late fee. Okay, so again, I'm going to definitely give this one a recommend. Hit like, subscribe, and comment. Maybe that way I can get an endorsement at a Fender or a sponsorship, and I can get the sunburst of this guitar. Maybe I can get that seafoam green with the maple fretboard. All right, that's it. We'll see ya. Remember, like, subscribe, comment, and when you comment, tell me what to call the guitar.